part of the chapter Living Organisms and Their Surroundings. So far, we have discussed about the adaptations, about the habitats, and about terrestrial habitats. Today, we will start with aquatic habitats. The plants and animals which live in water, they form the aquatic habitat. The fishes, they generally live in water and they travel in water with the help of the streamlined structure. An octopus, it lives in the depth of the ocean and it doesn't move so much, so its body is not streamlined. Aquatic plants, these are divided into three types: floating, submerged, and fixed. The floating plants, they do not have a well-developed roots and they float with the current of water. The example is duckweed. Fixed plants, these are the flowers and the leaves of these plants. They float on water and the stems, they remain fixed to a place. The examples are lotus and water lily. We have seen that the stem of a lotus, it's very long, thin, and it has got air canals in it. The leaves are big and round and also has a coating of wax on them in order to prevent them from rotting. Submerged plants, there are some plants like Hydrilla, Velicinaria, they remain submerged inside the water. Now we'll discuss some characteristics of living things which makes them different from non-living things. The first and the foremost is all the living organisms, they need food. We very well know this, that we cannot survive without food. Why? Because food provides us with energy to perform the various biological activities. All the organisms, they need food. The plants, they are known as producers because they produce the food with the help of the process of photosynthesis. And animals, they are dependent on either plants or animals for their food. Living beings grow. All the living beings, they grow up to a certain size. Like when we are a toddler, when a kid is in its infancy stage, the clothes there are different from the clothes we wear in our adulthood because we increase in our size. Living beings respire. All the living beings breathe air. The respiratory organs are different in different animals, like we breathe through nose, fishes breathe through gills, and earthworm breathe through skin, and whales and shark, they breathe through blowholes. Now there is a difference between the process of breathing and respiration. Breathing simply means the inhale of oxygen and exhaling of carbon dioxide. But when we inhale oxygen and this oxygen is used to break down the food and release energy, this is known as respiration. During the process of respiration, the oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is released. The reverse takes place in the case of photosynthesis, where the oxygen is released and carbon dioxide is taken by the plants. All the living beings, they show response to stimuli. Now, stimuli is something for which we respond. Like if we touch a hot object, we quickly remove our hand or we quickly withdraw our hand. Why so? Because the hotness of the object over here is stimulus and we respond. Our action is the response of this same. Many plants, they show response towards the light. The roots of the plants, they grow deep inside. Why so? In the search of food, in the search of water and mineral. Living beings excrete. The throwing away of unwanted or harmful products from the body is known as excretion. Living organisms, they absorb all the nutrients from their food, and the remaining item which is not absorbed or which is not digested properly, it's thrown out of the body. Animal, they excrete in the form of feces, urine, and carbon dioxide. Plants, they also remove the unwanted materials from their body, like they shed their dried leaves, the outer covering, in the form of bark. And also they remove the excess of water we have seen in the form of transpiration. In the process of transpiration, oxygen is released during the process of photosynthesis. There are some waste products which are stored inside them and they do not cause harm. Like these are stored in the form of secretions. Like in the case of rubber plant, produces a sap or a liquid which is known as latex and which is not a harmful thing. Living beings reproduce. All the living beings, they need to maintain the continuity of their life, so they reproduce. Like the reproduction can be in the form of some animals, they lay eggs like fish, birds, snakes. Some give birth to their young ones like human beings, cats, dogs. Plants also, they reproduce by many methods. Some of the plants, they produce seeds, and the seeds, on getting the favorable conditions, they germinate into a plant. Similarly, some plants can grow from other parts as well with the help of vegetative propagation. Living beings, they show movement. They move from one place to another place. Either we, like in the case of human beings, we either move our body parts, or as a whole, we move from one place to another. Internal movements also takes place, like the transport of water, minerals, and food. Living beings die. After completing the life cycle, all the living beings die. And in order to maintain the continuity of life, they carry out the process of reproduction. That's all for the day, children. Thank you so much. Have a very good day ahead. बेटा मैं क्या करूं बताओ तो, मैं कितनों को देखूं एक साथ.